back to the What's on Your Mind podcast, where we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want. I'm host number 1, Caleb.
And I'm host number 2, Brendan.
All right, Brendan, what's on your mind today?
Well, Caleb, I've been thinking about the 7 functions of marketing. Like, why are there so many?
What are the 7 functions of marketing? I've heard of the 4 Ps, I've heard of the 4 Cs, but what is the 7 functions?
Well, what do you mean? Do you want to know the different functions or what they do?
Both.
Well, the 7 functions are marketing information management, financing, product and service management, pricing, promotion, selling, and distribution.
So, what really is marketing information management?
Marketing information management is basically one of the first things you want to do when creating a product. You want to research what the product will do, what the customers want from the product. It's just basically all the information gathering stage of trying to create a new product or a new service.
So it kind of ties in with like the customer of the 4 Cs, doesn't it?
Yeah, customer, and it kind of actually ties into all the 4 Cs of it's getting the information for everything, the cost, the customer, and all that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, what about financing and product service management?
Financing just deals with all the managing funds of your business and how it's going to grow. You want to make sure you're paying your employees a good wage, but you also want to make sure you're not going to be paying them so much that you're losing on your profit. You want to make sure you're correctly budgeting your marketing and how much is going into that. So that's where financing comes in, and product service management is what is creating the new product or making the product that's existing already even better than it was before for the customers or increase satisfaction.
Okay, so it actually does kind of tie in with the 4 Ps and the 4 Cs.
Yeah, these are all, like the 4 Ps and Cs, fundamentals for marketing, but it's just different terms and more broken down.
Now you see with pricing sounds like one of the things from the 4 Ps, doesn't it?
Yeah, price is one of the 4 Ps, and they're kind of the exact same thing. It's the value you want to put onto your product. Like we said before, you don't want to put too high that you feel like that no one will buy, but you don't want to go so low that people are going to think, oh, this is cheap and it's going to break in a week, when in reality that's kind of the lowest you can price it. But
I think it makes sense, actually. And what about distribution and selling?
Distribution is just how it gets out. Like if it's online delivery, or you go directly to the website to order it, or you go directly into the store to order it. Maybe like on Walmart, you grab a bunch of orders from your house, send it in, and then drive into Walmart where they can load it up there. One of those. And selling it typically requires you to speak to someone. It's kind of like checking out at the cash register or the cashier. So that's the selling part of it.
That makes sense. So like with selling and distribution, would you say it's more important to focus on your distribution and selling, or focus more on your pricing?
I think it's more important to focus on pricing, because if your price isn't correct, there's nowhere, and no one's going to buy. If no one buys, no one's going to be involved in the selling process, nor are they going to be involved in the distribution process.
That makes sense. Now, like out of all of the functions, what would you say is the most important?
I think it's marketing information management, just because, like I said before, it feels like the very first step into doing all of them. Like all of them have things that precede them, and if it's the first step, if you can't complete the first step in the process, the rest of the steps won't happen. If you don't have the information of what your customers want, then you don't have the product you want to do, the product and service management. You can't do that step, which means you can't price it, meaning you can't sell or finance or distribute it. If you don't have the information, you can't do anything else.
So from what I'm seeing, basically, you can't skip out any of these functions because they're all equally important.
No, we can't. And I do think we missed one, promotion. I don't think we talked about promotion, did we? Like, I think you covered everything else. Promotion is how the customer finds out about your product, whether it be online on an advertisement, maybe on a web page or on the TV. Maybe it's word of mouth. Maybe it's an influencer getting promoted. It's just however the customer finds out about your product.
Yeah, that makes sense. Promotion is, I would say, probably one of the most important of the 7 functions.
It might be more important than, not more important, just after importance of the marketing information management, just because people don't know, you can't people don't know about your product, they can't buy it.
That actually makes sense, you know. All right, well, I think that's all I got for you.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think that's all we have this week. I guess we'll see you guys next week for whatever comes to mind then. See ya.
See ya.